St. Patrick's Day. I hope you guys all had a wonderful weekend. There is few weekends in the city of Chicago that are better, in my opinion, than St. Patrick's Day weekend. So I hope you guys all had an awesome St. Patty's Day weekend and are ready to roll for today. Thank you for joining us. Our topic for this morning is uncovering inventory. I've got an amazing guest speaker with us today to kind of help us walk through that. We have the amazing Nikki Consular with us, who's VP of our platform education, among many, many other things that she does for us here at Properties. Nikki is going to walk us through a lot of things that we can do with trying to help uncover or open up that bottleneck of inventory, right? A lot of the people that I'm talking to, just in passing in the office or through the coachings that I'm doing, that's the main challenge, right? I've got people in my pipeline who are ready to list and sell their home, but they don't have the inventory or know where they're going to go on that buy side. And what we really want to do is arm you all with the ability to know where to go to try to find some more of that inventory, to not be the brokers who are waiting for the property to come on the MLS, and then we're one of 6 or 7 people who are all in that rat race to run for that property. And so that's really the topic of this conversation. So buckle up, get ready to go. Before I jump into it with Nikki, I want to just kind of tee up what's coming up the remainder of this month and where we're headed for the following month in April. And so we do have one more piece of programming for the month of March revolving around prospecting. That is your in-office roundtables. I know last month we had done our first one of those. I would ask that you watch for your emails from your office manager. I've spoken to all of your managing brokers as well as your office managers. They are going to kind of control how and when they're going to do that. We will help with teeing up amazing conversations for all of you, but don't assume that your meetings are all going to be in each of your own individual branches and that they'll all be at the same time. Please look for your emails from your office managers directing you on when your meetings will be for those in-office roundtables. The ones we had last month were great, good conversations between the brokers, really feeding off of each other and creating that culture of collaboration that we have at Properties, which really separates us from a lot of our competition. And rolling into next month, we're going to be kicking off our all call in week 1. Paul Blackburn will be running that one and talking about your unique value proposition. And then we'll do some social media webinars and our in-office roundtables as well with that. All right, so let's jump right in. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and Nikki is on here and ready to go. So Nikki, thank you for jumping in with us. I'm going to kind of pass this over to you. Nikki and I had an awesome conversation leading up to this, and she's so good at just kind of teeing up and showing you how to do this. And we have a couple of really great suggestions and tips for you. And so without further ado, Miss Nikki Consular.
Yeah, thanks for having me and good morning, everyone. I am not wearing green. I am wearing black and gray, but my kids did give me a St. Patrick's Day bracelet, so I do feel that I am in the spirit. So first question, before I dive into here, I want to highlight 3 things that we should all be utilizing as a brokerage and the tools and resources that we have to uncover some of this inventory that we're all feeling that we don't have anything in our area. So first question for everyone on this call is, who is utilizing the agent app every single day? Not just going in there to go to the home screen, but at least who has set up subscriptions, who's using it to the best of their ability. So some people are, and that's great. And if you're not, you are in the right place right now, because we are going to walk through how to efficiently use that agent app. So whether or not you've been here for years since we rolled it out, or if you are recent as an At Properties Christie's International Real Estate Agent, we want to make sure that you're utilizing this the best that it can be. Because when you first get in here, sometimes it's overwhelming. There's so much information, there's so much content being posted all day long. How do you figure out how to get the content that you need? And specifically today, we're going to talk about finding that inventory for your clients and just talking to one another as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with all of you. And we're going to start in the first place, which is going to be in the deal management system, right? So all of us, I'm in a dummy folder for Ann Proper. So all of us here, we know that the process for us to create anything for our listings, anything for our buyers, and then once things go under contract, we're utilizing the deal management system. But one of the things I want to remember to point out that makes this super easy for you to post directly to the agent app is when you create that property folder. And remember, you can go ahead and create property folders before you actually have the listing agreement signed, because you can go ahead and send the documents through DocuSign if you wanted to. But one of the things is, once you actually get assigned a listing agreement, the property doesn't have to be live in the MLS yet. But on the task list, remember, under the prep for marketing section, and you can see the screen over here on the left-hand side, there's mark it as a coming soon in the ad agent app. This is going to make this very seamless for you. It's going to alleviate steps of going to the agent app and actually having to create a post for your listing. So if there is one thing that I'm going to write down, is making sure that you come into the deal management system and go ahead and post this. Again, you might not have photos yet. It might not be ready to be seen, but you're going and letting people know that you have this listing that is coming soon. When you click on market this coming soon in the agent app, this box is going to appear here on the right-hand side where you start filling out the information for your listing. And then the other thing too to call out here is that it does say, do you want to automatically include your photo and virtual tour link? If you do, or you're utilizing VHT and or Real Vision, those photos will automatically update your post once those photo links come back. So that's, again, one less thing that you have to worry about when you're posting in the agent app and somebody asks for the link. Sure, you can go ahead and be notified you are subscribed to any of your posts that you specifically create in the agent app, so you do know if someone's asking you a question or needs photos or when can I go ahead and see it. But you want to make sure that you are filling out all these details. Everything with an asterisk is required for you to fill out in order to go ahead and post that in the agent app. Once you fill out all of the details here, there's also a description at the very end. Remember, for the description, you don't need to put your name or your phone number or how to contact you. We all know here how to get a hold of that agent if we really need them. This is really just to highlight some features of the property. Once you go ahead and fill out the details here, you can go ahead and hit post. And then again, it's automatically going to post for you. I don't have to go in the agent app to check anything or update anything unless I need to, but it's posted in there. And now people that are subscribed or that are looking or have a buyer for this specific type of property, they can go ahead and get notified of that, which is what we're going to talk about next, making sure you're utilizing the app to make sure that you're getting notified of what is important to you. You don't need to know everything going on in the app. There's tons of different areas that are being posted. You want to really subscribe to the details and information when you're working with your buyer and you're working with your seller. These are the subscriptions that we're going to talk about today to best utilize that resource. But I wanted to call this out. This is one of the easiest things that you can do, is get into your property folder. Once you have that listing agreement signed, that means you secured that listing, go ahead and post that in the agent app. Again, it might not be ready to show, but at least you're letting other people know that you have this property that is coming soon. So that's step one.
And I think that's, while you're pulling up the other, I'll jump in here. I think that's insanely important, right? And so I would love us to get into that kind of cadence, right? We get it signed, we get the agreement signed, we're in our DMS, we're putting everything in there. We've got to start helping our fellow brokers, right? With us being internal, part of the major benefit of being with a company like App Properties and having as many brokers as we have is we can share that off-market exempt pocket or listings and opportunities if we are consistent with posting it, right? And so having that ability in the DMS to, when you go in and create that folder, just hit that simple button, go ahead and post it. Like Nikki said, doesn't have to be able to be shown. You don't have to post it with the pictures or the videos or anything, but at least let's start sharing that information and get it out there to open up a little bit of that bottleneck. And I love that little pro tip of just kind of a quick, easy way to go ahead and post without having to leave to go back into the agent app.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you in a second too, that even just posting that on the reverse end, when you search in the agent app that I'm in right now and you search for property needed, you can also identify which agents that you're reaching out to because they have a buyer that is looking for the need for this home. So it works on both ways. You just want to be smart of how you're utilizing our agent app here. So this is the agent app. So again, the DMS, that is the first piece, is get in that marketing checklist and get that checked off so you're automatically posting. Again, all these tools and resources that we have, we make it really easy for you, right? You don't have to come into the agent app and then do anything else. It's already posted. You can go ahead and move on with your day because the people are getting notified of what you're putting in there. I still want to focus on the listing aspect of this. So what I would recommend as well is once you post that you have a property coming soon on here, the other thing that you want to do is set up a search for the listing that you have. And what I mean by setting up that search is you want to set up a search for anyone that's posted in property needed. Because if there is another agent here posting that they're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Evanston, me as the listing agent, I want to get notified of that so then I can quickly respond to that agent and say, hey, have you checked out my listing that's coming on at 1234 Main Street? Because maybe they missed that post or they weren't subscribed to it yet because they just started working with this buyer and this is what they were looking for. So this is going to be the second piece. When you have a listing, you're going into your property folder and you're posting directly from there. The second thing is you are going to come into the agent app and you are going to create a subscription for property needed. And how you do that is when you're in here, you are going to click on the search. And when you click on the search, there's filters in here. And I'm going to delete all the filters and I'm going to go to property needed, sorry. Property needed. And then once you choose that filter option, you'll see here that I can start scrolling down and checking off the information that fits my listing. The other thing to remember about searching in the agent app is there are times you have to be a little bit loose on your search. If you're so granular on your search, there are less search results that come back. So you do want to make sure if I'm setting this up for my listing, I also want to make sure that I'm choosing a 3 or 4 bedroom for the property because the person might be fine with a 3 or might be fine with a 4. So you do want to make sure when you're setting this up for your listing, the parameters that you're setting up allow you to fit that mold of what that person could potentially be looking for. So let's say my property is in the North Shore. Again, maybe it's a 3-bedroom, but I'm going to do 3 or 4 because maybe that's how somebody is searching for it. Again, you're just coming through here and setting up the details. Maybe it's a 2.5, 2. It could be all these different options. And then here you can choose the price. So you know the price of your listing. So maybe there's a max that you want to put in here of 1,750,000, whatever that price range is. You can also put in the MLS area. In this case, you're only putting 1. Because again, this is my listing, so it's in Evanston. So obviously if someone's looking in Wilmette or Winnetka, they might not specifically be looking. You can open that up. And then type as well. So there's all these filters that you can go ahead and set up. And I'm setting this up again. I'm the selling agent. I'm setting this up to meet the criteria for my listing. Then what I'm going to do is there's this little subscription button down here. It's also at the very top. When I click on this, it's going to say subscribe to this search. And I'm going to put the address of my property. So 1234 Main Street. And what this is going to do is now when I save this search, anytime somebody moving forward posts in the property needed that they are looking for a 3 or 4 bedroom, that's a 1.5 bath in Evanston at a certain price range, if I fill that out, I am going to get a notification. And what that allows you to do as an agent is get notified and then say, oh my goodness, have you seen this listing at 1234 Main Street? Because again, maybe I posted from my folder a week ago. They just started working with this buyer, so maybe they haven't done the search yet and they're just posting in here to see what inventory pops up. So that is setting up a subscription for your listing to get notified. So that is the power of the agent app, is setting up these subscriptions. So again, you can click subscribe at here at the top or at the bottom. Then what that alleviates is me having to come in here and search through the property needed every single day. Because again, when you go to the home screen, you will see a ton of content being posted all day, right? Not all of it is relevant to you or your client or what you're specifically looking for. These subscriptions are going to allow you to be more efficient in this tool and resource by setting up those subscriptions for your property. And then once I'm done, I sell the property, I can then get rid of that subscription. So I don't need to be notified of that anymore. And I'll show you where we can do that at the end. But this is step 1, this is step 2. I go in my property folder and I post directly in the coming soon. And then I'm coming in here and I'm setting up a search for property needed. So then I can be notified of that and I can go ahead and reach out to my another agent and say, hey, I have a property that fits your buyer's needs. Let's talk. So it's as easy as that for that conversation.
That's great. I love that. What I love about step one and step two is both are time savers, right? It allows us to put the inventory in there to share it. Again, I had a question in the chat. Can we post our pockets on our agent app without it being in the PLN? Absolutely. That's what this
Yes.
is all about, right? Is that once it goes in the PLN, it's almost too late. We want to start that pre-marketing, right? Where we have a number of different phases and options we can offer our seller. What can we do for you when it's an exempt listing? And how can I market that? How do I get that exposure to the 3,500 brokers within our network? We use our agent app. Then what happens when we go into the PLN, and ultimately what happens when we go into the MLS? Education is key, but sharing that information and saving time. Go in the DMS and do it. This reverse prospecting feature and running searches should save you an enormous amount of time. There is a huge value in running the search on the back end, not having to go in there and chase people down, but you're getting that kind of pre-marketing before you go to the market. Now I have 4 people who have a search and buyers looking for my property. That's an enormous advantage for my seller in testing the market. Are we at the right price before we go live or in the PLN? All of those now we can use to our advantage if we take these steps. If we don't take these steps, we don't ever know. We're just hoping that there's a large number of people out there interested in our property. One of the
Correct. And
questions
somebody
in the
asked oh,
go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say, the one that asked, can you set up more than one subscription? Absolutely. If I have 5 listings, I want 5 of these subscriptions set up because again, on the back end, once you're done and you sell the property, you can delete all those subscriptions. So you're not then getting hammered with updates that don't apply anymore. So absolutely, you can go ahead and set up as many subscriptions as you want. Because again, that's what makes this tool efficient. We're just talking about the inventory right now, but there's other subscriptions that you can set up in the app too to make it a little bit faster for you. And to Pam's question too, on regard, do you delete the post once it goes live? No, you keep it in there because of this search functionality that somebody can still search for that property. And sure, a lot of us will know at that time, maybe we've see that, okay, that post was a month ago. Let me see if this property is still active. That's on the agent side to check that out, or they just reach out to you and say, hey, I saw this post. Is this property still available? So no, you don't need to delete that because again, this is part of building all of the content in here is for that search functionality. You know, if I'm looking for a vendor, I don't have to post in here for the 18th time about a painter. I can search for it and find that very quickly. The other thing that I want to show in here that's pretty powerful too, while we're in the property needed section, is you can also use this when you're with your seller. I would always do this beforehand. Never do this on the spot because I guarantee you, if you do this on the spot, you will not have search results. So then that power there will diminish itself when you talk to them about the agent app. But you can also share with them and do a quick loose search of their property and say, hey, you know, once you put in here property needed and go to results, it's going to show you all these people that are looking for properties that fit your listing. So one of the things you could do is quickly go to the results. So again, we were on filters because that's where I set up my search. Result is going to show you who actually has been posting in the property needed that fits that criteria you set up. You can go to most recent, which I would recommend because it will show you the most recent people that have been posting. But now I can also show my seller and say, hey, you know, I'm going to go ahead and make this live, but here's who I can reach out to. I can reach out to Brett, Claudia, Laura. I actually have physical names that I can tell them that I'm reaching out to too. So it also works on that way that says, hey, I'm going to make this listing and now I'm going to start reaching out to some of my agents as well. So you could also see in here, once you create your subscription, say, maybe I am going to reach out to some of these agents to let them know I have a listing coming. Not everybody, but maybe the top 3 or 4 agents just to say, hey, saw you were looking, you know, here's my new listing. If you have any questions, it's coming soon. So that also works on that instance as well, as you can reach out to physical people versus always just saying, oh, I'm going to be emailing all these people about your property. Right now I'm showing them physical people in here as well.
Love that.
All right.
We had one question.
Oh,
Would this
good.
help with properties that are listed but are not moving very well? Yes. I mean, I think anytime we can get information on the back end of who's looking or who has buyers that are interested for it, it's a huge advantage for our sellers. So yeah, 100%, it would be a value add even while the property's listed. Yes.
Correct. And if it doesn't fit the category or mold, we have that agent forum loop, which is really a catch-all of if you're trying to post something and you are like, I don't know where it fits, that agent forum is a lot of that. I would, again, highly recommend getting all of your listings into the coming soon loop, because that is where a lot of us are going to be setting up subscriptions and looking right now. But you can go ahead and post in the agent forum if you forgot. You know, once a listing goes live, say you forgot that step, there's still an option for you to get it into the agent app to let people be aware of what's coming. All right, so that is property needed. The other thing, so let's talk about now that I'm working with a buyer, right? So that's the working with a seller side. I have posting from the DMS, and then I'm setting up a subscription for property needed, because I want to be alerted anytime someone here is looking for something, so I can go ahead and shoot it off to them. Or they're setting up that subscription as well because they wanted to be notified. So the second piece of that is working with buyers, helping them find what they need. So you can also set up a subscription for property needed, or sorry, pocket listings, because I'm working with a buyer. I want to find and get subscribed and be alerted immediately once somebody posts from their property folder that they have a property that fits my client's needs. So similar in the sense where I can go ahead and set up a search here. Again, filter options, I'm not filtering all, I'm going to be searching for pocket listings. So again, I'm thinking about, all right, this is what my buyer is looking for in their next home. So again, which region are they looking in? They're all listed in here. You can also leave it blank if you want to. So I can go ahead and start walking through here. What are they looking for? Again, you can put multiple options in here, because somebody may say, I'm looking for a 2 or 3 bedroom. If it fits what I'm looking for, I'll buy it. So again, you can be loose on these search results as well, because once you get the results from here and get notified of the pocket listings, you can then decipher, okay, is that going to fit what my client's looking for? Is that in the area that they want to be in? So again, you're just coming through and filling out the details for your buyer that you're working with. You can put a max price in here. So maybe they're like not above 1.2. That's the highest that we're willing to go. But, you know, we could be in any price range that we're here for. MLS area and then type. Are they looking up for a single family home? You know, what are they looking for? So again, once I fill out all these details for my buyer, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click on this little subscription down here at the very bottom, or remember at the top when we're searching, there's also subscribe here. When I click on subscribe, you will know that you're subscribing if it asks you to name that saved search. If you never see this screen, you're not subscribed to anything. So sometimes you may think you're subscribed, but you're not. If you do never see the screen and you never named a search result, you're not subscribed to anything in the agent app. And at the very end here, I'll show you where you can view your subscriptions and how you set those all up, so we can make sure we are in fact setting up subscriptions. Sometimes we just go to this search result and think that's what we have. No, you actually have to name that search. So I can name this my buyer client. So I can put Kevin Buyer City, and then I hit save. So now I'm successfully subscribed to this pocket listing search. So what's going to happen, again, is I don't have to come in here into the agent app every single day and figure out which pocket listings are new that are going to fit my specific client. I am just going to get notified, depending on by phone or by email, how you set up your subscriptions, anything that fits the search criteria that I just set up for my buyer. So again, the subscriptions are key because it is going to alleviate you digging into here to find what you need. If I'm meeting with that buyer and I want to see, all right, what is out here right now? Again, you can filter over by the results. So filters is us setting up that search result. And then results here, I'd always go to most recent because they will show you the most recent posts in here. But then I can start to see all of these pocket listings that fit that criteria that I just set up. So again, different price ranges in here, different areas. Again, you can get specific to an area that your client is looking for. If they just want to be in Bucktown or Lincoln Park, I can put that in there as well to really narrow down my search results. But here it gives you the opportunity to go through this and see what's already been done. But moving forward, once you save that subscription, all you have to do is wait for someone to post and then you get notified right away. So again, it makes it that much easier for you to post in here and be subscribed to what is really relevant to the clients that you're working with, your sellers and your buyers. Again, you're setting up a search for a property needed for your listings to help share that listing that you have, that pocket listing. And then you're setting up a search for your buyers in pocket listings so you're notified immediately what is coming on the market. So it works both ways for the clients that you're working with. So you can make sure you're set up for success and then again notified right away. Because if you just search that home screen or go into these loops, it's going to be a lot of inventory you're going to have to cover through. So this is going to be your best bet to be notified right away.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's the way I look at technology is you have to use the tool the way that makes sense to you. And that's why I love this training and kind of where we're at with everything. If we're having challenges and struggles with inventory, or we're going in for a listing presentation, I know when I was selling, and I've heard it from a number of you, you walk in and you know you're competing against someone else for a listing. And one of the main lines that somebody uses is typically, I have a buyer for this listing. You know, if you give me this listing, I have 3 buyers right now who I can bring through the door, right? They're not necessarily, some are telling the truth, some might be, you know, stretching the truth a little bit with it. But what this gives you the ability to do is go in before you go in for that appointment, whether it's on the buy side or the sell side, to be really honest, because we're competing on both our listings and working with buyers at this stage. But I want you guys to really get comfortable with this tool. And our hope is that we understand how to do it, peel the information away. And then when we walk in to sit with our buyers or our future sellers, we can literally pull our phone out of our pocket and explain to them, here's the 5 or 6 brokers that I know who have buyers looking for your listing. Now I'm showing them. I'm not just telling them I have buyers looking for their property. I'm physically showing them. The same thing on the buy side. When I'm sitting there and I'm trying to get that buyer broker agreement signed so that they are committed and working with me, one of the ways I need to be able to do that is show value outside of what they already have access to. They already have access to the MLS, what's active. In many cases, they already have access to what's on the PLN through Zenlist or some of those other sources. So I need to be able to show value. This is your tool to show that added value, to show that I'm not the broker who just waits for it to show up. I go out, I get ahead of it before it hits the MLS, and this is how I do it. And so, you know, this tool, these searches, these subscriptions will save you an enormous amount of time and will give you a huge edge against your competition.
Correct. And I also feel, I like how you were saying you're showing somebody, but it also works when you're sitting with a seller and the seller's like, you know, I'm hesitant to move because where am I going to go? We want to move, but where do I go from here? This is something that you can show them to help them and say, all right, these are your options. Like, this is what I have right now that we can go take a look at, you know, before it goes live. So it works both ways, and connecting all of these pieces together. Somebody did ask a question, and you might have just jumped in late. So I just want to, I'm not going to go through the search really quickly, but to set up any of these searches, whether or not it's for a pocket listing or a property needed, you click on your search icon here. The plus sign is when you're posting. So if you want to post a property needed for your buyer, this is where you go. You click on this plus sign and you're going to hit on your posting in the agent app. To set up these searches, you're clicking on the magnifying glass over here on the right-hand side. And then again, you're filtering. So if I'm doing it for my listing, I'm doing a property needed, because again, I'm filling out the category or the information for my listing, so I'm alerted of anyone looking. Or I'm doing pocket listing for my buyer because I'm setting up a search because I want to be notified of what's going on in that area. You can also set up a loose search. If you are someone that really works in a certain area, maybe it's Arlington Heights, I work in this area. You know, I have clients that range in price range. I just want to know every single pocket listing going on to be a more value add to my clients. You can even just set up a search for pocket listings in Arlington or Evanston or Wilmette or Lincoln Park. So if there is a specific area too, and you're not necessarily working with a client yet, but you just want to be knowledgeable about the area and what's coming soon, go ahead and be very generic in your subscriptions as well. But we want to make sure you're setting these up for both of the clients that you're working with, either your sellers and your buyers. Because again, this is where the information is going to be fed through. And now that everyone on this call is going to be setting up these searches, it's going to be that much easier for everyone to be able to see what is coming on or what is coming soon with the clients that they're working with. All right.
Absolutely. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to show everyone the subscriptions.
Yes, please. That was one of the questions I was just going to bring up. That'd be great.
Yes. So subscriptions. So remember, a lot of it, you can download this on your phone. But so you can have this on the go, and most of us aren't looking at it on a computer screen like we are. But subscriptions are really important. There was a question in the chat that says, I'm not getting alerted of anything. So the first thing I would recommend everyone to do is when you click on your headshot on the right-hand side is go to subscriptions. When you go to subscriptions, it is going to show you everything that you are subscribed to. So you'll see here, I'm set up for, this is my listing. I'm set up for property needed in case anyone is posting about a property needed, I'm going to get notified. You know, here's a generic search I have in Bucktown. If I'm done with any of these searches, say I'm like, oh my God, this is so old, I don't want to get these anymore, you can just exit out of here and say, yep, I want to unsubscribe from here. So this is what I would look at is, hey, what am I actually subscribed to? And making sure that your subscription settings are the exact things that you want to be notified. So again, you'll see here, these are all the ones that have a name are the ones that you are specifically setting up. Then there are ones down here, depending on your, office or anything like that, that will show you down here below. One of the things I would recommend is for loops. If you are subscribed to Pocket Listings, I would unsubscribe to the whole entire Pocket Listing loop, because that means you are getting inundated anytime somebody posts in the Pocket Listing loop on here. So that's what makes the subscriptions easier, because these are the things I'm interested in. And now I only have to come to the app to see what, communicate with someone if I want to. I can email them directly from their post to me. But this is where I can see and say, all right, now I'm getting much more value from the app because I'm not getting inundated with a ton of different notifications. So the other thing is the notifications. So somebody on here was like, I don't think I'm getting those notifications. So this is where you can also see how you've decided to get those notifications. Is your headshot here as well? There's notifications. Subscriptions this is what you're subscribed to. You are going to get alerted for anything in this subscription section. Notifications, you'll see here, is how you want to be notified of any subscriptions that you set up. So it depends on how you use this. Email notification means you are going to get an email notification anytime somebody posts and you are subscribed to those details. So again, I post for my listing under property needed. Kevin posts tomorrow in the property needed category that he's looking for his buyer, and it fits the criteria of my listing. I am going to get an email notification because this is my notifications. Push notifications are going to be, you're going to get push notifications to your phone, similar to LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever else you're socially engaged with. You get push notifications to your phone. Most agents probably want that. They're on their phone all the time. I don't want push notifications for me personally, so I've decided to turn those off. I only get those email notifications. So again, if you feel like you're missing something, maybe you should turn on the push notifications so you can see that right away and say, oh gosh, Kevin has a client that has a buyer. Let me connect with him after my next meeting. So again, you can just toggle this on and then I'll start getting push notifications. So again, it just becomes a toggle. I don't want to, so I'm going to turn that off. I just like my email notifications. And then down here, it's also those subscriptions for here as well as your subscribed searches. How do you want to be notified? Do I want push and email? Do I want both? Do I want one? Try both. If you feel that that is overwhelming to you, turn one of those off, whichever one makes sense to you to make sure you're getting those information. Because again, if you're subscribing to things, you want to get alerted of these things. You don't want to have to dig to find these alerts. You want to get them immediately. So I would say most agents do have those push notifications set on because again, they're on the run, on the go all the time. You guys are working on your business, so you're out and about in the field. You might want those push notifications so you don't miss an opportunity to connect with someone if they're not doing a search outside of that. They're just posting about what their clients needs. So again, subscriptions and notifications are going to be the two things that you want to look at today. I would come in here and say, what am I even subscribed to? And then if you're one of those people that thought you set up those subscriptions, make sure you hit that subscribe and save it. Once you've done that, you have done a great job and you've actually subscribed to something in the Agent app. I always tell people you got to name it and save it, and then you are off to the races here. But then also come to these notifications, because if you do feel like you're missing them, maybe it's your email, maybe you want to turn on your push notifications to see if that helps engage you to remind you to come back into this Agent app, or engage with somebody that might have someone, a property that your buyer is looking for, or a buyer that fits the mold of your new listing. So those are my hot
Amazing.
tips for the Agent app.
Amazing. Thank you so much. This was extremely helpful. And so a reminder, what we record these, we will have this posted, of course, on our Agent app. It'll be in the coaching and training loop if you guys want a refresher or to review it. Please jump in and start playing around with it. Start using these tools. These are the tools that will help move the needle, help open up that inventory, help give you the edge against some of your competitors that are out there on the inventory challenges. As far as programming for Accelerate, reminder, next week on Monday is your roundtables in the offices. Please look for your email from your office managers. They will direct you on kind of what time and where to go for that. Okay. Nikki, thank you so much. This was extremely helpful. Thank you all for jumping on this morning and getting up and being a part of this. I wish you a phenomenal St. Patrick's Day and enjoy the sunshine.